animals do all of us favour? I'm suggesting that we do is not abuse animals when we don't need to. And what you're saying is, oh, you're against animal cruelty? Oh, go kill yourself. What? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Would you say that to somebody who rescues dogs? No vegan is false. Okay. Look, if you don't want to be vegan, that's fine. I can't force you to be against animal cruelty any more than I can force you to not be racist or sexist or misogynistic. There's nothing I can do about those things. But what I can do is, if you're somebody who claims to be against animal cruelty and stop paying for it. Somebody's asking me what my is is slightly better than cage, but the whole I mean, they take the cages away, but they still live in horrible conditions, like free range meat for their flesh. And I know you might think, well, no, but they're egg laying chickens. Sure, but eventually their egg laying production declines, and that's when they. I'll agree, but it's still cruel and it's still unnecessary cruelty. Chickens have a will. Yeah, they do. They have a will to survive. They don't want to be treated cruelly. Just like any animal. I mean, if you own a pet, a cat or a dog, you can recognize this. You can look at a cat and a dog, and you can see that if you've accidentally stood on their tail or accidentally kicked them because they've run in front of you, as cats quite often do, you can see that they feel pain, and that they can suffer. And in the ability to feel pain and suffer, a dog is a boy, is a cow, is a bear, is a man. We're all the same in that sense. There we go. Okay, so the animals I eat are racist and pro-slavery. I don't think so. The animals you eat are all innocent. Okay, so I've invited the United Phoenix to have a chat, and I think he. We're going to be talking to. Okay, thank you for arranging it. I know we had a couple of issues beforehand, but luckily I managed to talk tonight, so we can iron out any issues that we might have. Unfortunately, my lighting is really bad where I am. Not really a lot to do about that. But.
All right, no worries. As long as the audio is good, we should be fine.
Yeah.
All right, so
I mean, yeah, I'll let you start. I'll say your piece.
All right, kick off the initial question. In one of the videos, you left a comment saying that my reason why I didn't want to go vegan was based on a straw man. My claim was that veganism is based on appeal to emotion fallacy as well as scientific illiteracy. How's that a straw man?
Well, what? Sorry, I'm not really sure because you're. I don't know what that comment was reference to. So, I mean, maybe it'd be easier if rather than saying, "Oh, you commented this," and then like, what did you know? How is that straw man? Why don't we just start from your position and we can work our way forward from there?
All right, let me rephrase the question. I believe that veganism is based on the appeal to emotion fallacy and scientific illiteracy. Do you believe that's a straw man, and can you elaborate?
Yeah, sure. So I would say that you don't necessarily need to be emotional to understand common sense, right? It's for some reason you've dropped out. Let me invite you again. I don't know what happened there. I don't know if that's your internet dropping out, but I'll answer the question anyway. An appeal to emotion would be I can hear you now. So an appeal to emotion be like, oh my God, it's so sad that they're dying. But that's not what I'm doing. I'm saying, well, look, you're against animal cruelty already. Well, that's what's happening. And so when you go vegan, all you're doing is living in alignment with your ethical beliefs that you already have, which is animal cruelty is bad. And that's not an appeal to emotion. I'm just saying, look, you're already against it. You're already against dog fighting. You're already against needless cruelty to animals. You just need to live in alignment with your actions. And sorry, what was the other point?
Based on scientific illiteracy.
A vegan diet is healthy. That's not my opinion. That's the opinion of the largest, oldest. Really attacking me at all. You're disagreeing with the largest scientific body on this planet who says that vegan diets are healthy for all stages.
Vegan diet as a whole and default healthy? Or is one that has been specifically well planned, well thought out, and well executed healthy?
Well, what I would say to that is that any diet that's not well planned can be unhealthy. If I was to go into McDonald's and just eat McDonald's all the time, that would be a bad diet, and that would be a diet that contains animal products. But we can both agree that that'd be a terrible diet. So if we don't plan our diets, we're going to be unhealthy. So yeah.
Okay, so then the vegan diet isn't by default healthy, correct? Just like any other diet, it has to be well thought out.
McDonald's do vegan options. So if you went into McDonald's and ordered the vegan option every day, sure, that would be unhealthy. I mean, all we've concluded here is that eating bad food all the time is unhealthy. So what we can both agree on is that no matter what diet you've got to plan it to some degree, otherwise you're going to be unhealthy. Sure, so that just applies to everyone. So there's no real point there. We just all need to plan diet.
Okay, then what about the studies that say that the healthiest diet to be on is the Mediterranean diet? And that was backed up by both dietists and nutritionists.
Well, I mean, I don't know about these individual studies, but what I would say is that if you look across the board, it's always the blue zone that come out on top. They always seem to be living the longest life expectancies with the fewest health complications, and they are eating predominantly plant-based diet, if not completely. But ultimately, I don't even need to make the claim it's the healthiest diet because there's no scientific consensus on the healthiest diet. It doesn't exist. That no one's 100% sure. We haven't done the test or the studies to look into that. But
I've seen a study that broke down that the Mediterranean diet is the healthiest diet that a person could be on.
Sure, but there'll be another study saying that another diet's the healthiest, and there'll be all sorts of studies saying all sorts of stuff. But what we do know is that we need vitamins, minerals, macronutrients, and micronutrients, and all of that can be got on a vegan diet. So we can look at studies as to which is the healthiest, but the bottom line is that the scientific consensus is that a vegan diet is healthy. And so long as it is healthy, we can say, well, then we don't need to be needlessly killing animals. And so if we have a choice, essentially, we can choose to kill animals for our taste pleasure, or we can choose not to. And that's what I present as the dilemma. What do you want to do? What reflects you as an individual? Somebody who promotes animal cruelty, or somebody who says, no, I want nothing to do with it.
Have you actually read the study in its entirety, or have you only read the abstract?
It's not a study. It's the position of the American and the British Dietitians Association. So
have you read the position paper in its entirety, or have you only read the abstract?
No. So that's the I wouldn't say it's the abstract. It's like the title or something. However, you can look into it. You can study it. You can do what you like. But that's the summary of it, if you like.
So you've only read the abstract.
So yeah, I mean, I've read that part. However, I don't see why that would be an issue. I mean, have you got an issue with that in particular?
The abstract only goes over the main parts that the organization or the authors wanted people to absorb by it. If you go in and read the entire document itself, it goes into further details to show that it is not as simple as what the abstract shows.
Well, I mean, if you actually look at what the abstract says, let's call it the abstract, that's what you want to call it. It says that a vegan diet is healthy for all stages of life, whether it's pregnancy, adolescence, so childhood, adulthood, even athletes. and athletes are managing to do it. Look at somebody like Lewis Hamilton or Novak Djokovic, for example, a high-performance athlete. This is clearly something that people can do. It's not so much of an issue. It's not even controversial at this point. Even the NHS here in the UK, the National Health Service, promote a vegan diet as being healthy. So, I mean, the idea that you're saying that it might not be healthy, it seems to me like...
I never said it was not healthy. I'm saying that you're
not,
oversimplifying the situation.
Well, am I? I mean, I'm saying that it's healthy. I'm just following the scientific consensus, which is the NHS, the American Dietetics Association, the British Dietetics Association. They're all saying it's healthy. And I'm just saying, look, I'm not a scientist. I'm not even a dietitian. I'm just saying that they say it's healthy. And so long as the experts are saying it's healthy, who am I to disagree?
They're saying it's healthy when it's well planned out. Again, the key word is being when it's well planned out.
And they also say that on a non-vegan diet. So, as I mentioned before, any diet can be a bad diet. I think we can both agree on that. No diet is... You can't just eat meat. You can't just eat bacon, say, and be healthy. That would be an unhealthy diet. But that wouldn't be a vegan diet. That would just be a terrible diet. So a vegan diet can be unhealthy. I'll fully agree with you there. And it can be healthy. So...
part of that well-planned part... The part of that well-planned part that they went over, not only went over the diet, but also the individual person's needs. I've talked to at least one nutritionist who specifically works with the community that is primarily vegan. And she has been noticing a long list of health issues because some of these people cannot be on a vegan diet based upon their particular needs, and their health is beginning to fail because they're unwilling to compromise.
Sure. Okay, so let me explain it this way, right? Firstly, what you've done there is done an appeal to, what's it called? It's like an appeal to an expert. You're saying, yeah, but this one expert says. Now, let's just say I grant you that there is exemption for reasons where you might need to eat meat. Well, first thing to note is that there's no medical condition where you can't be vegan. It doesn't exist. But even if it did, let's just say that you're the expert, that you're appeal to authority. That's what it is. Let's just say the authority that you've appealed to have said, look, this person needs...
It's not appeal to a fourth authority.
Well, it is, because you're looking at one expert, and I'm talking about the body of evidence that says...
Appeal to authority is appeal to somebody who's in a position of authority, not an appeal of expertise.
Yep.
An appeal of authority would be you appealing to the individual who is a psychologist with zero nutritional practice or experience.
Sure, look, it's one person, it's not the consensus, that's my point. It's irrelevant anyway, because bearing in mind veganism is reducing your contribution to unnecessary cruelty, exploitation and suffering to animals as far as possible. So if a nutritionist comes and tells me that I need to eat, let's just say I need to eat an egg a week in order to be healthy, and there's no other way around it, and I have no other outside knowledge other than that nutritionist, then I can still be vegan and eat that egg a week, because being vegan is about minimization as far as is practical and possible. So veganism is not an elimination of animal products. It's a reduction in animal products as far as is possible within your lifestyle.
Has possible or reasonable and practicable?
Yeah, as far as practical and possible.
How is it reasonable and practicable to sacrifice your own health in order to live a diet that is not natural?
Well, yeah, that's just an appeal to nature fallacy.
No, it is not.
It's not natural. Well, yeah, it is. You're saying... Well,
saying that something is in nature, therefore it's inherently good, is appeal to nature fallacy. Saying something that exists in nature is not appeal to nature. Saying that something exists in nature is being compliant to scientific theorems.
So why are you using the word nature? We don't care about nature. I mean, paracetamol, for example, is not natural, but yet we all take it.
I'm correcting you because you're inappropriately using the fallacies. You incorrectly identify the appeal to nature fallacy and the appeal to authority fallacy.
Well, why even use the word natural when we know it means nothing? Who cares about
because nature exists.
Yeah.
It's a physical thing. It's also a concept.
Yeah, it's a concept. It's a physical thing, but it doesn't apply to this conversation. Why would you bring it up? Because we don't. Right now, we don't care about nature. You don't care about nature. Let's be honest. You don't. If you needed heart surgery, you'd have the unnatural heart surgery. I wouldn't say, oh yeah, but that doesn't happen in nature. You'd be like, yeah, I don't care. So you're bringing something up that's irrelevant. So anyway,
no, it isn't. You're incorrectly identifying the appeal to nature fallacy. If you're going to call me out on fallacy, you need to make sure that it's done correctly. You can't just be throwing out words to make yourself sound like you're in the right and I'm in the wrong,
no,
or I'm thinking illogically and you're not,
well,
and you are.
no, but when you're saying, oh, but it's not natural, that's an appeal to the nature fallacy. But it's not natural, therefore
No, it
it's
is
bad.
not. The appeal to nature fallacy is saying that if something exists in nature, it is inherently good. That's what the fallacy is.
Exactly, and you're
stating
saying
something.
Exactly, and you're doing exactly that. You're saying, well, it's not natural, therefore it doesn't occur in nature, therefore it's bad. So that is the appeal to nature fallacy.
That's not how I worded that.
Well, look, you know, it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter because we can move past that. That was just kind of a side.
Yes, it is because you're straw manning it. We cannot get anywhere in the conversation if you straw man and you refuse to understand where I'm coming from or what I'm saying.
Well, no, I understand what you're saying, and I think we're talking about points.
No, you do not.
Look,
you cannot understand what I'm saying if we repeat it back. You're saying the exact opposite of what I'm saying. That's not understanding what I'm saying. That's misinterpreting and manipulating what I'm saying.
Okay, so repeat what you're saying, and let's see if we can work this out.
All right. I actually completely lost my fucking train of thought. We're talking about the dietitian, the study about dietetics, correct?
I'm saying that it's completely healthy to be on a vegan diet. It's that simple. You don't need to be.
And I'm saying you're doing an oversimplification of it. When you say it is completely healthy, it's healthy under properly planned conditions.
Okay, yeah, but bungee jumping is healthy under properly planned conditions. If I go bungee jumping and I don't have a carabiner, I'm going to fall to the ground. Well, obviously, I'm not going to do that. That's stupid. Obviously, if I go vegan and I only eat lettuce, that's not going to be healthy. I mean, you know, you're just talking about absurd circumstances. Obviously, when you go vegan, you need to eat a balanced diet. That's common sense. Like, why are we even talking about this? It's silly.
Because you and other vegan activists constantly bring up things like, oh, you can be on a vegan diet and live cheaply. You can eat rice and beans and that'll be fine. That's going to screw up your health.
No, a vegan diet is the cheapest diet on the planet because carrots are cheap. A banana.
If you're willing to risk your health.
No, a banana in the UK is 13p. You know how much a chocolate bar is? About 80p. That's more than like 400% of the price, right? For a piece of chocolate over a piece of fruit. So, you know, a vegan diet is the cheapest diet, not because you have to risk your health, because it's just cheap to buy plants. Plants are cheap. They grow them, you buy them direct. With meat, you have to grow lots of plants to feed to animals, to eat the animals. So it's far more expensive, and it's subsidized.
If I want to use your logic, being on a non-vegan diet is the least expensive thing because I can go outside and collect ants off of an anthill.
Oh, well, sure. If you're going to do that, and then you can say, well, I'm going to go outside and eat, you know, fruits and vegetables that are outside, you know, like mushroom growth and stuff like that. Sure, but I'm talking about just normal day-to-day life. I'm not talking about these extreme. I mean, there are a group of people, I don't know if you've heard about them, called Freegan, and they're kind of like vegan.
My point is this: the study you are referencing only works if it is well planned out. Being on a vegan diet is not.
I'm not referencing a study. I'm referencing.
Yes, you did.
The position of the British. No, I didn't. I'm referencing the position of the British American.
Okay, the position paper.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Yeah, and it does only work out. You're right. You're absolutely right. It only works out if you do it properly. Just like any diet. Any diet you choose, no matter what it is, if you do it improperly, it won't work.
And why even bring up the cheapest option?
No, you brought it up because you said vegans like to tell people how the food is the cheapest, and it just so happens by accident to be the cheapest option. And you brought it up, and I
brought it up because you brought up in one of your videos that is an option that people can do, and that is one of the options that could possibly put somebody's health at risk.
Well, what saving money puts your health at risk?
If you're saving money and eating food that isn't going to give you the proper nutrition, you are going to put your health at risk.
So if you're eating a poorly balanced diet, it puts your health at risk. But I wouldn't promote that. That would be silly.
Then why do you say that you can live cheaply off a vegan diet and give off foods that you can't live off of sustainably for years on end by only eating them?
Because you can. Vegan diets are the cheapest diets. I'm not really sure what you're not.
If you're willing to risk your health.
But why would you have to risk your health when vegan diets are healthy and that's a scientific?
When you say you can eat rice and beans, you are giving examples of doing it incorrectly.
I never said
You've
rice.
done it in one of your videos. Yes, you said it in one of your
Never.
videos.
No. Well, no, I haven't. I would never say that.
Yes,
I
you
would never
have.
say just eat rice. No, because that would be a poorly planned vegan diet. Why would I say that? Why would I
You
promote a
said you
poorly
can
planned
live off a
vegan
vegan diet. It's one of the cheapest things in the world. You can eat rice and
diet? I said
beans.
that.
That's what you said in your video.
Rice, beans, peas, nuts, seeds, legumes. Okay, well, maybe you can tag me in that video. I don't think it exists. And then you'll probably accuse me of deleting it, because that's what you guys do. You just make ridiculous arguments, and obviously they don't hold any water.
Okay, well, let's stick a little bit more to the point. What is your definition of an animal?
Good question. I've never really thought about that. I guess my definition of something that we shouldn't be causing unnecessary harm is somebody who is capable of feeling pain and suffering. And so, let's say I had an animal that is capable of feeling pain and suffering. We shouldn't cause it pain and suffering if we don't need to. That's what I would say to that.
I'm not talking about pain and suffering. I'm just asking you to define what is an animal.
Well, an animal is well, it's a good question. I'm not actually sure myself that I could give a properly qualified answer. I guess I could say something like it's conscious, it's aware of its surroundings, it's capable of it's capable of thinking, feeling, and things like that.
Okay, and why not go off the scientific consensus and go off of any organism that's in the kingdom of Animalia?
Okay, sure. I'll go with that. Like I say, I was just punching in the dark there. I didn't really know. So if that's the scientific consensus, that sounds about right. Yeah?
So you agree that veganism, when it says that's bad to eat animals, that we're talking about all animals, correct? No deviations from that?
I would say it's bad to eat all sentient animals because they can feel pain and suffer. If they're insentient, then I guess technically I can't really argue a case for them. They can't feel pain, they can't suffer, they're unaware that they're alive, and if they're not sentient, then I can't really argue a case for not killing them. There are people who would eat oysters and say they're vegan, and since there's no scientific consensus to say that oysters can feel pain and suffer, then it would make sense that they can still eat them.
Now, where is that exception made in any vegan material or in the theory of carnism?
Well, I've just told you there. I mean, that's me. You've asked me a question, and I've answered it. So I've just accepted it.
And I'm asking you, where is the deviation from that? Because according to all the vegan material I've read, when they talk about animals, they're referring to all animals, not just the animals that have brain cells or the ones that have nerves. It's all animals.
Well, no. I would say, well, I guess like most people just say all animals more broadly because they say that. And some people would even argue that we shouldn't be eating oysters because there's a chance that they will feel pain. And I would say that. I would say, look, there's a chance that they're going to feel pain, so we should err on the side of caution. However, if you said to
You're
me,
jumping off the rails. I'm just asking you to define what is an animal and why,
well,
if there's any deviation, why they should not be included in the definition when vegans refer to animals or when the theory of carnism refers to animals.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I'd say we're talking about semantics because what we're really saying here is, oh, well, the definition of this is this, and well, technically, this, doesn't fit the definition. And
we're not arguing semantics. I'm asking you a definition. I'm not arguing against the definition you've given. I'm asking for your definition.
I've agreed with the scientific consensus.
Okay, and you believe when vegans, and you also agree that when vegans say that when they include animals, when they speak of animals, we shouldn't eat animals, they're saying all animals, correct? There's no asterisks, there's no deviation from that, correct?
I'd say that when we make broad sweeping statements, there's always going to be a margin of grey, isn't there? Like, for example, is there any reason we can kill animals? Like, vegans don't say, no, we can never kill animals.
That wasn't my question.
No, I know it's not your question, but I'm pointing out that there is grey area and stuff, isn't there? And so if you've got an animal that doesn't have a brain, can we kill it? Well, it can't suffer, can't feel pain. I don't see why not. It's not going to cause any harm to the world. It's not going to cause any harm to the being, as they have no brain and they can't suffer. So I think, there is grey area. So I'm not really sure where you're going with this, because we're talking about, I don't know, we're talking about animals that I don't even know.
Allow me to ask the question again. When the Vegan Society refers to animals, are they referring to all animals, or is there an asterisk to that?
Well, that's a question you'd have to ask the Vegan Society, but right now you're talking to me, so I can't really answer on their behalf.
You've been a vegan for 2 years. Why don't you know the theology that goes behind your political beliefs?
I know my theology. I don't know the Vegan Society's thought. I know their statement. I know their position. They would say all animals, but that's because it's a
Okay, and do you agree with that? Do you agree with that?
Well, no, I've already told you my position.
So you can believe that you can be a vegan and still eat animals.
I believe that if you think that it's okay to eat an oyster because you think that it can't feel pain, then yeah, you believe it, so that's fair enough. Personally, I just give it the benefit of the doubt, and I don't particularly like the idea of eating sloppy sea animals anyway. It's pretty disgusting. However,
so it's possible to be a vegan and still eat animals, according to your definition of veganism, correct?
Sure. If that's the person's belief that they can eat those animals, yeah, because they're not sentient. In fact,
so if I say that I've killed my, so if I make the argument that I've killed my animals, no, let me finish. Let me finish.
I can make it even simpler.
If I make the argument that I've killed my animals in a way that they felt no pain, I can eat that animal and still be a vegan.
No, because that animal was alive. So you violated their right to live.
But they didn't feel pain.
It's irrelevant. You violated their right.
And you have violated that oyster's right to live.
Yeah, sure, but they weren't even aware they were alive. So just like we kill plants, but they weren't aware they were alive, so that's fine. But let me make it really simple. If we had a cow and we could grow a cow without a brain, and we could get a cow to full size with no brain, let's just say we had a microchip that we could put in that cow, and that cow would grow to full size, and then we take the microchip out, and then we end the cow's life, if you like, because it doesn't actually have a life. It's actually a robot biological machine. I'd have no issue with that, because the cow would not be a sentient being, and so therefore that wouldn't be a problem. Do you see what I mean?
I'm a little confused upon your stance where you say that if you aren't vegan, you are for animal cruelty.
Absolutely, yeah.
You make all these different statements.
Yeah.
You believe in carnism, you believe in everything else like that,
sure.
But you are making the argument that you can still be a vegan and still eat animals.
Well,
even though there's no literature on veganism that says that that is acceptable.
Actually, a lot of vegans will agree that you can eat oysters. So there's lots. I think you probably haven't spoken to enough people. I personally wouldn't eat oysters. However, I'm not a gatekeeper for the vegan movement. I'm not going to say, "Oh, you eat oysters. Oh, you can't be vegan then," because it's a very grey area, and I think there are some grey areas, such as, for example, zoos. I think are a grey area. There are some zoos that have small animals in large enclosures, and I don't think that's cruel because they're living a much better life than they can imagine otherwise live, and yet we would say that's cruel. Whereas when you get something like a lion in a small enclosure, yeah, of course that's cruel. So I think zoos are a bit of a grey area as well. They can be made vegan, in my opinion, because there will be no cruelty or suffering there. But any argument you've got against veganism is just an argument in favour of animal cruelty. Why would anybody be in favour of animal cruelty?
If that's not true, you're using a completely wrong definition of animal cruelty.
Of course it is. All I'm saying is that I don't want to be cruel to animals. That's it. That's all I'm saying. So any argument against that is an argument in favour of the animal cruelty. You're arguing against.
Okay, let's go ahead and go for the scientific consensus. What zoologist believes that the killing of an animal is inherently animal cruelty?
Not necessarily, because there might be a good reason to kill the animal. It's dying in slow, painful death or something like that.
Killing the animal for food.
So, yeah, killing an animal for food when you don't need to do so, because there might be a reason why you do need to. Maybe you're starving. Maybe you're stuck on an island.
Again, I'm not asking for your opinion. I'm asking you, what zoologist believes, or collective of zoologists, believe that killing an animal for food is inherently animal cruelty?
So they believe that it is animal cruelty.
No, I'm asking you, what collection of zoologists believes that killing an animal for food is inherently animal cruelty?
Well, I don't think zoologists study what they do with meat after it's, or the animal after it's been killed. I think
Zoology
zoologists
is the
always,
study of animals and animal health.
yeah. Okay, so I think that any zoologist would say that it's wrong to needlessly kill animals. However, most zoologists will probably still eat animals if they think it's necessary to do so for their health, because we've
So
been
you
so
don't know.
brainwashed by
You
our
have never
society.
seen anything where scientific consensus has brought forth that claim. You're just making an assumption because it backs up your personal beliefs.
Well, it's irrelevant, isn't it? It's completely irrelevant. You can
No, it
never
is
prove
not.
it.
You're going
No,
off
it
of
is.
scientific consensus to back up your beliefs, even though you're going against the grain of the consensus of the vegan community. Any authority figure who's written on veganism, and now you are saying that you don't know if this community of
I don't.
authority
I don't.
figures in this
No.
field has made a statement on something, and now you're deviating
So
away from that.
So not at all. You completely misrepresent me, because I follow the vegan consensus, which is we shouldn't kill any animals. But that's just because I don't want to kill any animals, just in case they're sentient. However, what I'm saying when
Even
I
though you
say
made the argument that's okay for some
no,
vegans to eat oysters.
yeah, because bear in mind what I said, I'm not a gatekeeper of the vegan movement. If you genuinely believe that oysters, I don't know, can feel pain, or sorry, that they can't feel pain, then I'm like, okay, fair enough, because I don't have the science on my side to say they can feel pain, because there is no science that says they can, because they're oysters and the scientific consensus isn't there yet. But we know that pigs can feel pain. We know that. We know cows can. We know chickens can. We know all sorts of other animals can. So we know that they can. So we should definitely not cause them harm. But the ones that we don't know about, and there's no real scientific evidence for or against, then I say let's leave them alone just in case. And some vegans might say, well, look, I'm actually pretty content that they don't feel pain. And so I'm not going to be a gatekeeper and say, no, you can't be like, you do that, but I'm not going to do it because just in case. And the fact that I don't like slimy sea animals anyway. So I hope that clears it up. I mean, it's pretty simple.
Not really.
Well, I know you might struggle, but for most people, that's a really simple argument. Understand from your perspective, because I'm against animal cruelty, and you're the opposite of that. You're against what I am. So
That's not true. Vegans do not have the monopoly on being against animal cruelty. You think you do, but you don't.
Well, what I would say is that the monopoly in favour of animal cruelty definitely doesn't belong to vegans.
I've seen some vegans do some pretty cruel things to animals, so I would definitely disagree with you on that.
Well, clearly they're not vegan.
They believe they're doing the right thing, even though they're not.
But I'm pretty sure at that point you can say, well, no, that's this person's just trolling. They're not even a vegan. Like,
and being a vegan is not supposed to eat animals or use animal products, but you're not gatekeeping by allowing them to eat oysters.
Not necessarily. I mean, like I was going to mention earlier, you interrupted, I was going to mention about freeganism. And freeganism is like a branch of veganism where they eat animal products. They eat roadkill. They could go into McDonald's and pick out food out of the bin because that food isn't demanded economically. And so there'd be nothing wrong with the actual eating of meat. It's not the eating of meat that's the issue. It's the buying of it. It's the funding of the industry that perpetuate this animal cruelty. So if you're going around McDonald's bins eating waste food, there's no issue with that. If you're going to go and eat roadkill, there's no issue with that. It's not about what you eat. It's more about what you pay for. And when you're paying for someone to put a pig in a gas chamber so that you can have a 5-minute meal that you won't remember eating the next day, that's when it becomes an issue.
And you do realize that there are non-vegans who don't get their meat in that way, correct?
Well, 99% of meat in America comes from factory farms. 90% in the UK. And that's a definite.
Again, do you know that there are some non-vegans who do not get their meat in that way?
Oh, of course there are, but they all get killed against their will, and that's the point. Like, even if you
There's not a single life form that gets killed with its will, unless it completely falls to depression.
No, that's true. However, there are life forms. Well, actually, that's not true. Suicide's real. But even aside from that, old age is something you can't avoid. Eventually, you're going to get old and die. So, yeah, okay, eventually everyone's going to die. However, no animal dies of old age. No animal on factory farms, anyway, because they all die from being needlessly killed for people's taste buds.
Okay, again, you believe, that veganism isn't based upon scientific illiteracy, but you believe that the position of dietetics says that vegan diet is healthy. But you don't revert to any organizations of zoologists to determine if your definition of animal cruelty is even legitimate. How does that make sense?
I don't need to. I don't need to. I can just ask common sense. If I said to you, I'm going to go on a holiday. I've got a dog, right, let's say, and I'm going to go on holiday, but hey, I'm not an arsehole. I'm not an arsehole. I want to go on this holiday, but my poor dog, he's got nowhere to go. All the kennels are booked up. Like I say, I'm not an arsehole. I'm going to kill my dog in a kind way, in the way that you say is ethical for pigs, say, because pigs and dogs are very similar. So I want to get my dogs, my 3 dogs, kill them, or should I not kill them at all? I mean, I could cancel the holiday, but it cost me £3 grand. So what's more important? £3,000 for my 3 dogs' lives. And I think
common sense would say that killing an animal quickly for food is not animal cruelty.
Okay, but this isn't for food, but this is for pleasure. But so is food. Food is pleasure. We don't need to eat it to survive. We've already agreed that we don't need to.
We don't need to eat food to survive?
No, we don't need to eat animals to survive. We've agreed that. So it comes down to pleasure. So we've got the pleasure of eating versus the pleasure of this holiday. So why is the pleasure of eating more important than the pleasure of the holiday? That's the question.
Again, you're speaking in absolutes. There are some people who have enough allergies and other conditions where they have to eat meat in order to get their nutrition.
Yeah, but
or they don't have access to it.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about you. I'm talking about you. You choose to eat pig, for example. I don't know if you do, but I'm assuming you do. And you, just like I might choose to put my 3 dogs in a gas chamber so I can go on the holiday and save £3,000. Right? So what's the difference? I get pleasure from my holiday, you get pleasure from eating the meat. What's the difference?
Again, you're assuming that I'm getting my food in that particular way. I've killed my own food before, and it's been quick, and it's been ethical according to common sense.
Okay, so are you saying that the viewers who are watching this right now, if they get their meat in that particular way, they're wrong? They shouldn't be doing it?
No, I'm saying the common sense thing that anybody who agrees with is that if you kill an animal quickly...
Okay, so I want to talk about you. Let's just talk about the average person watching this will be eating factory farm meat that gets sent to a slaughterhouse, and there'll be gas. So we've got the dogs versus the pigs. We've got taste pleasure versus the pleasure of a holiday. Why is taste pleasure absolutely justifiable, but the holiday is a moral abomination? What's going on with that?
We're not arguing taste pleasure. We're arguing that killing an animal quickly for food, by common sense, is not animal cruelty.
You're repeating yourself, but you just...
That's because you keep dodging the question.
No, I haven't dodged anything.
No, you have not.
How can I be dodging a question whilst asking a question that doesn't make sense?
Because gassing an animal isn't quick, and it's not the only way that we get our food. You're using an outlier to erase the entire practice.
Okay, again, how can I be dodging a question whilst asking a question? You dodge your question by answering a different question again. You just keep dodging questions.
How is your question related to mine? I'll answer your question if you can answer how your question relates to mine for clarification, in order to give more information.
Well, I don't even know what your question is, because I was asking you one.
How is it not common sense that killing an animal quickly is not animal cruelty?
Quickly, who had no family, there was no outside suffering for that human, would that be okay? He didn't know anybody, didn't have any friends or family, there was no more additional suffering. Would it be okay if I murdered someone? Morally speaking.
No, that would not be morally acceptable.
So you already agree that unnecessary killing is wrong, even if there's no suffering. Why is that?
Again, you're mixing up what is unnecessary and also why it's immoral for us to kill a human being and why it's not immoral for us to kill an animal.
No, you're just trying to conflate the situation with,
No, it isn't. I understand the origin of morality. I understand the origin of biology and the evolution of our psychology. That's why I understand why you're full of shit.
It's a fact that humans are animals. That is a fact. Right?
Yes, we are part of the kingdom Animalia. You're absolutely right.
Okay, so just like pigs are animals that you can kill relatively, like you say, painlessly. That's not reality, but let's just pretend it is. And I'm saying, well, look, I'm going to kill a human, bullet in the back of the head, no family, no one's going to know that he's gone. Is that okay? And you're saying, no, that's wrong. And I'm saying, okay, well, when we do it to a pig, why is that okay? And you're saying, because it tastes good.
No, I never said that. I never broke it down to taste. I never broke it down to sensation.
Okay, so what is it then? Why is it okay to do it to a pig, but not okay to do it to a human? What's the reason? What's the difference between the two species that justifies the difference in treatment?
The reason why it is immoral to kill a person just for food, but it is moral to kill an animal quickly for food,
Go on.
is because with the way our species has evolved, we have evolved to be social. And to kill another member of our species that isn't in self-defense goes against that evolution and that natural part of our aspects.
Well, we can address that. Let's just say it was a social norm to kill old people at the end of their life. And this old person had no other ties to any other family, and it was a social norm to do it. Would you do it? Would you kill an old person who is near the end of their life just because it was a social norm? There was no comebacks from it. There was no suffering. Would you do it?
Would I kill a person, an old person, or would I assist them because they asked me to and they were ready to move on?
No, they don't need. No, they don't want to. They've probably got 10 years to go, and they don't want to die. But at the same time, they've got no use for society, as it were.
If you listen to my previous answer, you'd already know the answer to that question and why I would give that answer.
Okay, and which is it then? Because it's slightly different this time.
That would be immoral as well.
Yeah, but why? Why would it be immoral?
Because we evolved to be social. We evolved to work together. We evolved to help one another out.
I've changed it.
I'm not arguing society. I'm arguing our evolution. I'm arguing our biology. I'm arguing our nature. I'm not arguing about society. I'm not arguing about the framework that builds up our natural biology. I'm arguing our biology.
I'm saying all of that's changed. We now accept that it's completely acceptable to kill these people when they get to a certain age, and you saying you wouldn't do it. But it's part of our society. So clearly, it sounds to me like it's not society that would stop you, that would make you kill that person, or that would stop you from killing it. You'd say, no, I'm not going to kill that person. It's wrong to kill people.
That's because I believe in science, and that's why I don't agree with veganism. Same reason why I don't agree with veganism, and why I don't agree with your premise, because I believe in science.
Okay, so if you believe in science, then you already agree with me. Again, you're just trying to divert the subject. You society is normalised it, but you wouldn't do it. But I'm saying, well, when it's normal to kill a pig, you would do it. Well, why is that?
Because it's scientifically consistent.
No, it's not. You don't need to eat animal products. Not only that, but animal products give you cancer.
Animal products do not give you cancer. Highly processed red meats have an increased chance of giving you cancer.
Yeah, so sorry, again, you don't disagree with me. You disagree with the scientific consensus. Cancer Research UK.
I just said the scientific consensus.
Yeah.
There isn't a scientific group out there that says all meat gives you cancer. It's processed red meats. Highly processed red meats give you cancer.
Cancer Research UK say all processed meat, even white meat, even fish, give you cancer. and red meat is likely to increase it. Not guaranteed, but likely to. But class 1 carcinogens like fish fingers, chicken nuggets, burgers, hot dogs, lunch meat, those kind of things are all guaranteed to give you cancer. Not maybe, they're class 1 carcinogens. They will give you cancer.
Okay, what about non-processed meats? Meats to begin with. That's when I corrected you. You said all meat gives you cancer. And that's why I corrected you.
I said.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, meat. No, I didn't. Meat causes cancer.
Yes, you did.
I didn't say all meat. I said meat causes cancer, and some meat causes class 1 carcinogens, right? So for all processed meat causes cancer, which is the vast majority of the meat that's consumed. So the vast majority of the meat that's consumed is cancerous, and you're trying to say it's healthy?
I never said that. Processed red meats have an increased chance of giving you cancer after you said all meat gives you cancer.
Look, it sounds to me like you're addicted. It sounds to me like you're an addict who cannot give up.
It sounds like to me you can't stay on topic.
Well, no, I can stay on topic, but you keep trying to move the goalpost. But look, at the end of the day, if you're addicted to animal flesh, look, there's not a lot I can do about it. No one can force you to be against animal cruelty.
Let's try to get back on topic.
Yeah, no, I'm going to wrap it up.
Why do you think that killing animals for the food is animal cruelty, when there's no scientific consensus that says that there is?
But no, there clearly is. I mean, there's been all sorts of studies done that say it is. And
there's no zoology group that says that killing animals for food is animal cruelty. You made the appeal to common sense, even though there is no common sense that says so.
There is, because on Facebook the other week, somebody put their dog down, and they put their dog down because it nipped their toddler.
Again, you're changing the subject right there. Change the subject. I'm not talking about putting down a dog, about killing an animal for food. There's no zoologist group that says that killing an animal for food is animal cruelty. What zoology group believes that killing an animal for food is animal cruelty?
You're going to have to let me speak.
Then do not dodge the question.
So no, I'm not.
Answer the question.
I'm answering the question. So on Facebook the other week, there was somebody who put down their dog via injection, right, which is the preferred method, not the gas chambers that the pig suffer, which is far worse, but the injection. And people on Facebook were outraged because it was unnecessary that they killed that dog. Even though the dog died without pain, it was unnecessary. So even we all agree, like society agrees as a standard, we don't need to kill dogs. We shouldn't be killing dogs. Well,
did they eat the dog?
No, they didn't eat the dog.
That was on topic for my question.
So, how is that relevant? What you do with the animal after? I'm saying it's the way that they die is wrong.
Because that's part of common sense.
Against their will. No, common sense isn't all that common, and just because it's common doesn't mean it's right. I mean, at one point it was common sense that God was real. Does that follow today?
So your common sense that killing an animal regardless is wrong.
I'm saying it's.
Let's get back on topic. What scientific group, what zoology group believes that killing an animal for food is animal cruelty? Inherently.
Say again, sorry. What scientific group say that?
What zoology group has pointed out that killing an animal for food is inherently animal cruelty?
Well, I don't know of any, but that's irrelevant.
Yes, it is.
Oh,
it is relevant because you believe that your system is based in science. So what scientifically accredited group, what zoology group believes that killing an animal for food is inherently animal cruelty?
Well, the RSPCA say that it's wrong to kill dogs for meat. Right? So
we're not talking about outliers. We're talking about the entire system.
Hang on a minute. So if it's wrong to kill dogs from the Royal Society of Protection for Cruelty to Animals in the UK, it's wrong to kill dogs for meat, but all of a sudden we do the same treatment to pigs and it's not okay?
They're arguing against it from a cultural perspective. I'm talking about it from a basic scientific biology and natural standard. What zoology group believes that killing animals for food is inherently animal cruelty?
Well, okay. Well, we don't even need to look at them, because why would we? We can just.
Same reason why you need to look at the position paper for Dietetics to show that eating a vegan diet is inherently healthy. I'm asking you the same principle.
Well, look, we don't need to, because I'm just going on what people like.
We're not
feel
talking about
like
need to
they
or not
like.
to. I'm asking
No,
you,
I'm just
what group
saying,
says that it is inherently
if
animal
well,
cruelty?
look, let me speak. I can't talk to you if you don't let me speak. So if people already agree that if I was to walk in a room and see a dog and decide, hey, look, I'm hungry, I'm going to stab that dog in the throat and eat it. If they agree that that's cruel, or if I put it in a gas chamber and then eat it, if we all agree that that's cruel, then why is it when I transfer the species, all of a sudden it's not cruel? And so, if we agree,
How does that help you answer the question?
Well, because I don't need to say a zoologist said it's cruel. Well, I'll come back to you on that. I can come back to you another day and answer that. I mean, if you think that the Royal Society of Protection of Cruelty to Animals, who said that it's wrong, like Kurt Zuma, for example, drop kicked his cat. So it's wrong to kick a cat, okay? But the moment you stab a pig in the throat so that you can eat its dead body, that's absolutely fine. I mean, that's insanity.
No, that isn't. That's not falling into the black and white fallacy.
Okay. Oh, okay. So it's okay to kick cats then? Are you saying it's okay to kick cats?
From a moral perspective?
Yes, from a moral perspective. Can you kick cats? I mean, Kurt Zuma enjoyed it. He got pleasure from it.
From an inherently moral perspective, eating a cat would not be immoral. Inherently.
Kicking a cat would not be immoral.
You said eating.
No, kicking. He kicked the cat. Oh,
I'm not talking about animal cruelty. I'm talking about killing an animal for food.
So if he kicks the cat, he's immoral. But if he stabs the cat in the throat, that's perfectly fine. As long as he eats it.
Inherently, yes.
Well, that's ridiculous. So you're saying that you'd rather be stabbed in the throat than kicked? Because you don't want to be treated cruelly, right? Unless you go the other way and say, I do want to be treated cruelly. I'd rather be kicked than stabbed.
If I had a choice between an elephant gouging me through the neck or stomping me to death, I would rather take a tusk to the neck.
Yeah, that's not what I asked though, was it? So
yes, you said being kicked or being stabbed for food.
Yeah, kicked. It wasn't being mauled, stamped to death.
So if an elephant kicks me, I'm actually going to live through that?
Yeah, sure. Elephants can kick people and people live through that. That's not really that big of a deal. I mean, if they stood on you, maybe not, but if they kicked you, yeah.
Back to my question. What scientific group has given you the information that killing an animal for food is inherently animal cruelty?
The RSPCA, they've said that it's unethical to harm animals when you don't need to do so.
They're talking about abuse. They're not about killing an animal for food.
Well, it is abuse, isn't it? But we live in a society where...
Not according to any zoology group that I've met.
Okay, but if it's wrong to do it to a cat or a dog, why would it not be wrong to do it to a pig or a cow or a chicken? I mean, it sounds to me like you're just appealing to authority.
What zoology group says that changing the species automatically makes it animal abuse? I'm not talking about coming from culture. I'm not talking about ethical groups. I'm talking about scientists looking at things objectively from a scientific perspective.
Let me ask you a question then, right? People right now, at the moment, are putting pigs in gas chambers, right? Or so that people can eat them, right? Let's say they weren't doing it because people can eat them. Let's just say they were putting pigs in gas chambers because people liked the way they sounded when they got lowered down into the gas chamber. No one ate the pig. They just enjoyed the way it sounded. They enjoyed the sound pleasure, if you like. Would you say that's okay? In your opinion, not mine, your opinion.
How does that help you answer my question? That's because you've never answered it. You've never answered it.
Well, look, from your question point of view,
just answer the question, man.
I said to you, I'd get back to you on it.
Upon your emotions, not based upon absorbing scientifically accurate information.
Based on common sense, mate. It's not.
So your emotions.
if it's no,
It isn't common sense to kill.
Okay. So let me put
Killing
it
an
this way:
animal for food
if I've
is
got a
common.
dog in front of me, and I've got a pig in front of me, and I stab the dog and it's cruel, but I stab the pig and it's fine because it's bacon, though. But how does that make sense? Sorry, the pig didn't suffer. The dog suffered, yeah, because it's a pet. We love it. But the pig, no, that didn't suffer.
Quickly, for the purpose of food, is not inherently animal cruelty, regardless of what the species is. It may not make sense. It may not be efficient. It may not be the smartest thing to do, but it isn't animal cruelty.
There'd be, people would be crying out for this to end. But because it's pigs, we don't care.
If we killed pigs in a quicker way and we didn't gas them, will we still be having this conversation?
Yeah.
Okay, then don't use pigs in gas chambers. Figure out a better way to get straight to the point.
I don't need to, because that's just the reality. I'm just talking to you about the reality of what's happening.
And I'm telling you the reality that not all animals are thrown in gas chambers to get killed, nor is that the only way, nor is that the most efficient way, nor is that the most ethical way. I'm not talking about an outlier. I'm talking about the inherent value of something. If you kill an animal for food as quickly as possible with it feeling as least amount of pain, that is not animal cruelty.
We've covered this. So if I was to kill somebody for food who had no family, no relative, there's no exterior suffering, would it be okay? We live in a society where it's acceptable to do that. Or let's just say that no one would ever find out. And so there would be no...
And I answered you from a scientific reason why that would still be wrong, not from a cultural perspective, from a scientific perspective.
And why is that? Remember it, so...
Please listen this time.
I always listen.
I don't believe you. All right, so from a scientific perspective, why it is immoral to kill another person, or I should say murder a person, because killing is inherently wrong either. Why it's immoral to murder a person.
That is an appeal to nature, by definition.
No, appeal to nature saying that if something exists...
Yeah, cool. It's this guy is just... I've got to go. But this guy's so boring. He just goes around in circles. Appeal to nature. I'm pretty sure that if I kicked a cat, we'd all know it's cruel. So yeah, but I've got to go in a minute. So I thought I'd take a couple of questions because I've neglected the audience. Please, can I talk? Not tonight. Maybe tomorrow night I'll be on. Look, any argument you've got. When people say like, "Oh, you lose that argument," it's like, I don't lose. I don't lose everything. I'm going to go to sleep tonight. All right, I have not lost anything. I still get my money from my job and all the rest of it. I do this for a bit of a hobby. I don't lose anything. The only people who lose are the people who are born on this planet. Show your face. I can see you're clearly old. Yeah, I'm 35. I am old. Actually, zoologists, they would say that if I was to go in and kill a lion, say, and I was to kill the lion for their meat and eat the lion, they'd probably arrest me and be like, "What the fuck are you doing? Like, you can't just kill lions." So no, zoologists would also appreciate that you can't just kill lions. I'd say 5 isn't old. Thank you. I appreciate that. Why aren't you reading the comments then? I'm reading them right now. But if you eat vegetables, you support animals being killed during harvesting. I mean, yeah, I mean, I guess we support the unavoidable cruelty. But by definition, it's unavoidable. So, what can we do about that? Cool. I'm going to go anyway because it's late here in the UK. It's like 12 o'clock, so it's midnight, and